sort of related to this is the possible Netflix buying Warner Brothers or Paramount trying to buy Warner Brothers. But I just saw that Paramount is now trying to get Warner Brothers instead. In so much that, these are just huge media corporations. They use AI a lot, and not just for like AI content generation, although that is probably coming. If you've seen some of the new AI video generation, even if they're not creating entire projects from AI, filling in the gaps, doing things like that. And I wonder if something like this only accelerates the use of AI in media. Because I feel like Netflix is probably more AI pro than Warner Brothers and HBO. And so now if Netflix owns Warner Brothers and HBO, are we going to see even more AI content, even if it's not fully built out AI content? That's the best I got. Otherwise, I did not see any other AI news. Let's go through. And so today is Q&A day. If you have questions, please ask them. Otherwise, it gets very boring in here because I can't answer questions that aren't asked. New people. Sam Lee, are you new to the coaching calls into AI Profit Boardroom? You can either turn on your mic or, got a hand raised. Go for it. You're muted. Well, you have your hand raised, but you're muted. So I cannot unmute yourself. That's fine. You don't have to unmute yourself if you want. Oh, I guess maybe you were just saying yes. Just throw it in the chat. Let us know. Is it okay if I message? Yes, absolutely. So it's always okay for everyone to message in the chat. I totally understand. Some of us are at work or in a meeting or, running on the treadmill and just trying to get in that AI time. So yeah, just let us know what brought you here, what kind of AI workflows you're interested in, how you want to apply AI to your professional life or even your personal life. All right, while Sam gets that up and going, we covered the non-existent news. Feel like he is the only new person. A lot of familiar faces in here. Anybody have a question that they want to throw out there? Aaron, Ed, Georgetta, Keith, Russell. What are your views on Gemini 3 started using today? It seems poor. So do you mean, well, this is two different things. So Gemini, I think, covers a lot, right? Because they do a bunch of different things with Gemini. Do you mean like Gemini?
So,
go for it.
So I used it today. I've used lots of other models. The problem with it, in attaching largest files, it says you can have up to 100 megabytes. Is a thing basically crashes using a 90 megabyte file. I will try and use smaller files. It seems poor in relation to Opus 4.5 or GPT 5.1, or I have to say Opus 5, I think, has it. Claude is far better at writing text, more thoughtful. I'm just trying it out. The actual product that seems better that comes with the subscription for Gemini is the Notebook LLM, particularly for summarizing documents, YouTube's websites, and pulling information together. But I'm looking for an LLM that will really handle large spreadsheets and CSV files. I was probably better of the three. I have Perplexity as well. That's better for research. But Gemini kind of promises a lot. It may be better for apps. With a lot of these things, it's trying to work out which is the best tool for the best output. So Perplexity is better for research. Claude is better for writing, particularly longer documents and thinking it through. I don't use much for image generation. Thought I'd just try Gemini. There's a free month, I think, to start with, and then it's subscription. But like a lot of these things, they're developing as they go along. So what's good today might not be so good in a week's time.
Absolutely. You hit on a lot of points. I think, so, I know that Gemini is supposed to have the longest context window, right? And that's what you're trying to get here. I feel like they say they do 1 million tokens, but you were saying you put in something that's 90 megs and it crashes. I do think that probably universally for a lot of these AI tools, if you try to push their limits, then they fall apart, right? Where it's like, well, it's 100 megabytes idealized, right? Where in the best possible conditions, it can do 100 megabytes depending on the file and this and that. But then really, once you start pushing their limits, then they fall apart. And I don't know if that is a good thing or a bad thing, right? Like, why say it can do something only for people to try it and then get disappointed, right? Which I think shows up a lot. But I didn't realize, so I think I always had mostly either used Gemini through typing something into Google and seeing Gemini pop up, or using it as an API. But I guess they launched an app, right? I don't know when they did it, but like I just saw something recently about how more people are using the Gemini app than ChatGPT. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, but I guess that's something for them to say. However, you know, what you pointed out, I do think that, and I've been a subscriber to this concept of multiple AI subscriptions, I guess. You probably do, if you're going to use AI a lot and you're going to utilize it for an incredible amount of your work, you probably do need to subscribe to multiple AI platforms and utilize them for, you know, what they're best at. As you're pointing out, Perplexity is better for research. Claude, I feel like, is the most technical one. If I'm doing vibe coding, I want to use Claude. Gemini is supposed to be really the multimodal one, right? And so if you're not doing things with media, you know, then I don't know if it's as good. And again, like you were saying, like it's supposed to have that large context window, which sounds good in principle, but if you have a large context window, but like not really the reasoning or the logic or the output that you're looking for, a large context window isn't going to do that much for you. I haven't tried out the Gemini app. And again, like I've only really used Gemini as an API, where it's like when you're doing the API stuff, when you get rid of the agentic aspects of these LLMs, they start performing a little bit closer together than what they do in the application, because once they add the agentic aspect to it, then you can get all kinds of different things. But I think, Ed, you hit on it. It's like, really, you gotta try them out, see what they can do, and don't trust the limits that they give you, that it's like, oh, it can do this. It's like, I could probably do 70% of that, and not even, as you're pointing out, 90% of what they're claiming. First and foremost, thank you for creating and sharing these incredible opportunities in AI. I'm just reading what Sam Lee posted in chat. My initial inquiry is whether it's feasible to mass produce an entire YouTube channel using AI automation workflows through Flow with. If this is indeed possible, I'm curious to know if AI Money Lab provides such information and guidance on how to create such AI automation. Somebody else has brought up Flow with before. This is not the first time that Flow with has come up. Let me hear. Can you do an entire YouTube channel with Flow with? Let's take a look. Most likely, probably yes. Let's see. I can't even see much unless I sign up with Google. Okay, well, so I don't know if you can do it with Flow with specifically. Can you do it in general? Yeah, for the most part. We've done stuff not with Flow with. I don't know if we have much Flow with based content, but you can do it. You can build it in N8N. You could vibe code out a solution yourself if you wanted to. And let me see, if you mass produce, yes, mass produce entire. Maybe if you're really interested, we might do possibly a Flow with coaching call. If other people are interested in Flow with, we could try it out. I would say, so with any of these things, they can probably help you. Here, I'm signing up for Flow with right now to see what we're talking about. Credits, Knowledge Guarded, New Flow. So it's an AI automation platform. Let me see. So you're just creating Nano Banana Pro free projects. So probably-ish. I don't know if it would be your best solution though, if you want to mass produce AI generated YouTube content. I do think that, you theoretically can do it. It might take you longer than doing something with N8N. I would give N8N a try for doing something like this instead, because you can connect all the different APIs that you want. You could connect with Flow with. N8N also has prompt to workflow, right? Which it seems like that's what Flow with has. But I don't know if it's going to prompt to workflow as well or has as much support as N8N does. And then, but what I will tell you is that yes, you could theoretically, no matter what, mass produce AI generated content for a YouTube channel. And if you wanted it to be profitable and useful, I would say similarly to what we do here, you do need to be human in the loop for some of it. Like the idea that you would just press a button and it would just generate you perfect AI videos every time without you intervening, that I don't think anybody can do. Unless somebody has something they want to throw in the chat. Oh, what is the name of the program? And so N8N. And like if you take a look on the AI Profit Boardroom, like we have our courses and our classes, like a lot of them are N8N. That's probably the most popular agentic workflow platform out there. And then really, again, it's like taking that and then connecting it to probably Nano Banana, I feel like at this point in time. And then HeyGen. And then some video generator, maybe Kling or Runway or something like that. And then, yeah, you could mass produce. And then, like, you need to have an LLM write your scripts, things like that. You are probably going to need to edit it or have somebody edit it for you. But once you've gotten to that stage and you have everything generated and it's all lined up, it's probably not that much in editing time. But our videos are AI generated. And I think they do them with an N8N agentic workflow. And so if we can do it, you can do it, right? Probably. It is going to take a little bit of time. There's going to be a bit of a learning curve, and you are going to have to experiment with what you're doing. But sure, mass producing YouTube content is definitely possible right now with AI. Okay, let me see. Some more people pop in, or they just don't take it. So go for it.
Good morning, Jeff. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
Good. Thanks for being here, helping us out. And I just have a couple things. First of all, I don't even know where to find the chat in meetings. I don't use meetings except for
so if you look down to the right, there's like, it looks like two people are hanging out with a 14 above them. And then right next to it, it looks like a word bubble-ish. If you click on the word bubble, then you get into a chat.
I got it. Thank you. You know, so many things on here I don't pay attention to, so I appreciate that. And then so on to that question. So when I originally joined this month or two ago, one of the goals I had in mind was to that Julian was talking about is shortcutting my processes and using frameworks that were already built. And some of those may be created in, I don't know, I know that N8N was one of them, but then there were other workflows. And I'm not seeing anywhere on the site for a school of where those might be that I can grab some of them and maybe just start there to, I don't know, complete the tasks I wanted to do.
If you go to Classroom, I'm in there now.
Okay.
And then somebody might get to it before I do. Tools. I used to have it set up so I used to pull all my N8N workflows from here. AI agent workflows.
You know, I see something that says N8N templates and workflows.
That's good. That's start. Yeah, where is that? So it says N8N templates and workflows. I think I just missed that as I'm scrolling through. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Yeah, and so then these have, just like it says, it has N8N templates and workflows. You look through them, find ones that make sense. You're probably going to have to adapt them some. And, you know, there's a bunch of different types in here, social media templates or email-based templates, website and SEO, personal assistance. So things like that. And then I would like look around in Classroom because there's those N8N templates and workflows. And then I also saw AI agents and workflows, right? And there's more content in there that can possibly be used. And really though, they are, I would say, like a starting point and possibly something that you need to, if you haven't done a significant amount of that first, like partially you do need to just get like those reps in and get practice in and like even see how you're supposed to set up a workflow or how you're supposed to get any of these things going, or even like what are the issues you're going to run into, you know, making sure to get your API keys and things like that to get things off the ground. And then, you know, if you're on the Thursday coaching calls, as I've shown people on N8N, it'll also do prompt to workflow for you, which is probably maybe your fastest bet to getting what you need to get, as long as you know what you're looking for. And we all think we know what we're looking for with these AI automations, and then we try it and we realize, oh, no. What I want is something slightly different than what I'm trying to build now.
Yeah, I agree with that totally. And, going back to what the other earlier gentleman said about Gemini, and I see that how self-contained that whole ecosystem is. I've been learning on that. And then I realize, and I run aground where the trigger's not there. There's no way. I mean, I suppose you can use something like Zapier, but if you go back to the Gemini, there's not really a trigger base that you can employ. Like, let's say an email comes in.
Yeah.
You can't use, believe it or not, that I can find in Gemini. So I'm to corroborate what you're saying. All of these have some fantastic things you can do, and Gemini, no doubt, has accomplished a lot. They had flows that they introduced recently. I have it in my Google Workspace. These flows are amazing and really user friendly, but without a trigger, I guess a Zapier or something might be good to start something and then keep it within that ecosystem. When I joined, the purpose of me joining was to, number one, was to create a self-curated real estate newsletter. Now that newsletter for real estate, I have two other efforts that I do. One is automotive and the other is investor relations. Everything I build in my mind, I have as a template for other things as well. So it's the same process. What tool are we using? Now, you created we did some work within the avatar. That was the other thing. I thought there might be a copy paste template system to create what is so attractive is that's the Julian Goldie avatar that while he's out servicing his clients, he's reporting on the news using his avatar, as we all seen in his YouTube videos. And you're showing us a reality of what these avatars are about, probably over my head when it comes to being able time, and you've done a fantastic job, so I can't wait to get to the end. But those are the two things you showed me. Now I'm looking in here and maybe I can copy and paste this workflow. Yeah, based upon what I said at the end, when you're done with this avatar, will this be like something you think you might be able to package and let us copy and paste so that we can employ our own API keys, our own accounts, and do that? Or where do you think that will go?
Well, if you want, yeah, like, I mean, for any of these, and maybe I should be doing that for the N8N workflows that we're doing, I can just download the JSON file and share them with you, and then you can have them. I mean, the one that we did, that we've been working on Thursday, will generate AI avatar content. As I said, right now, one of the things with HeyGen that I don't like is that on their starter package, you can't use all the avatars. Like, you really have to put in actual money to really use it. You have to be committed to it. Otherwise, I mean, maybe it's not the big, I think you're spending like $99 a month or something like that. And so you do want to actually get real return out of it if you're going to be doing that. The $25 a month one gets you a few avatars. You don't have as much choice, but yeah, I can share that one. And that one, you have to adjust it so that it generates the script you want, and then you've got to get the right ElevenLabs voice in there to match up with your avatar. If anybody watched the one that we generated on Thursday, the voice does not match the character. Like, it does not seem like that person's voice. But if you put in your API keys and everything, that one will generate you avatar content. I can if you're here on Thursday, remind me, and I'll just share that JSON with everybody, and then you'll have that. And I think newsletter, I'm pretty sure that there is a newsletter automation in the N8N templates that gets, well, I mean, part of, if I remember that one correctly, what it is doing is it's grabbing information from like RSS feeds or something, and then generating the, simple, like, because a fairly simple like newsletter content for you, and then you could build that out even more. But again, with that one, I would say with the newsletter one, you may want to look into potentially, and even still with the AI avatar one, I would, set up the APIs or like set up the services, and then just maybe generate them on your own without automating them at first, if that makes sense, right? Or it's like, here, like, or be a little bit more human in the loop, potentially. The one thing is, if you're doing script generation, or if you want to automate it at some point in time, I've mentioned this before, the AI or the OpenAI API or any of them, the Claude API, all of them are going to generate you different texts than if you had done this through the platform. So if you are just doing an API, because if you want to automate it, you are going to need an API, most likely, right? And then the text that you get out of that is not going to be the same text than if you have the platform do it, right? If I go to ChatGPT and I'm saying, here, generate me newsletter content, here's the topic, it's going to give me something that's much more topical. It needs fewer steps. It's just going to do it for me. If you try to do the same thing with the OpenAI API, it's not going to research anything for you right off the bat, right? It's not going to do any of the actual content generation for you right off the bat. And the same thing with like doing an AI avatar, right? If you're having one and you want that to be current event, information, if you get that script generated through ChatGPT, that's going to be very different than the script that you get generated through OpenAI. And so that part, you may want to, if you are going to be automating in the long run, use the API connection to generate your scripts, get the prompt making sense through there, because once you switch over, you may need to start from scratch if you're getting your prompts to make sense in ChatGPT instead of OpenAI. But from there, you can just take those scripts and then go into the ElevenLabs portal and have it generate you a voice. And, you don't need to automate the whole process at first. You should probably, without setting up an entire end-to-end pipeline, just generate the content. It might take you longer, right? But also, again, like, you need to do some of that experimentation up top to make sure, hey, do I have even the right person I'm looking for, right? For your avatar. Like, are these voices matching up? Like, kind of like looking through their library of voices and testing them out. It might be easier to just go through the platforms at first, get a few videos created, know that it's working, right? That it's like, okay, like, I'm getting the response I want. This is what I'm looking for. This makes sense. I see what my workflow is. And then start automating the processes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you. I appreciate that. It's pretty good wisdom in what you've shown on this open source version of this avatar.
Right.
Has been enlightening, because it is reality when we watch you go through this process and what you experience with HeyGen. And so if I'm to look philosophically of how I want to build, I don't want to keep building stuff on platforms and then rebuilding it when I run aground. So I'm looking more toward trying to build it within either a VM or cloud somewhere, and then leaning more toward open source, even if it means the pain of learning beyond my intellect. And if I have to learn beyond my intellect, well, I do have a lot of tenacity, so I'll do it. But I'd rather have things stitched together via API than the way these connectors, as I mentioned last time when we spoke, they don't work and they break. Too much breakage.
Right. Well, I think so. These are two different things, right? Like the one where you are trying to connect Google to ChatGPT or whatever, like that. Yeah, that's a mess. I do think that yes, you probably do want to either use N8N or, I don't know how open you are to doing like the vibe coding solution, because like that's another way that you can probably, I feel like, sometimes go faster depending on your automation, but not using connectors on these platforms, but essentially just like them saying, like, you get your, like, let's say you have your script for your AI avatar and then you want to generate the voice through ElevenLabs. You don't have to use the ElevenLabs API to get that voice. Like, you can go onto their platform, and then try a bunch of different voices, have it run through. Like, you don't have to initially get that set up through a vibe coding solution. Gotcha. And then you have your wave file, right? Okay, now I have my audio file of what I'm looking for. Great. Now here, let me go over to the HeyGen platform and just input that audio file, find my avatar, get that to generate the AI avatar video content. Again, it's going to take you a little bit of, like, you're like, once you've gotten your voice chosen and you've gotten your AI avatar chosen, you just go in there and it's like, here's the script. Like, you press a couple buttons and it'll generate it for you, right? And then you take the voice and you put it into ElevenLabs or into HeyGen, and you click a couple buttons and it generates your AI avatar for you, and you come back and you download it. And it's not automated, like, it's not this entire pipeline. But when you first start, I think that, you know, if it takes you an extra 10 minutes to get these videos off the ground than it would if you had an AI automation pipeline, that's probably worth it a little bit, just to even see if, like, okay, do you really want to automate this? Because, like, again, we all think these are all great ideas or they're all going to work out. But if you spent an extra 10 minutes to get these videos done, at least they're getting done. Right? Like, right now, you're not generating your newsletter, or you're not generating your AI avatar content. So they're getting done, and then you can build the automations while this is happening, you know, and then, okay, here, now I have an automated version of it. But if you're not generating the newsletter content at all, if you're not generating your AI avatar content at all, I would start with that and then automate it, then get it going, just to see if it's even, again, worthwhile, because it's going to take you a bunch of time to set up these automations. And then what if you spend all this time setting them up and it's like, now I moved on to the next thing, you know, or like, here, I'm making this YouTube channel, and, you know, I didn't realize I was gonna have to edit it myself, or do this or do that. It's like, oh, this is a bunch of work, or like, nobody really cares, like, or I don't even like this content. Or again, like, just to get it off the ground, instead of kind of procrastinating with putting together an automation that, like, we have to go back and forth with and troubleshoot. Just get the content out, and then while you're getting the content out, build the automation, and they'll kind of help guide you, right? Because automating something that you haven't done already is, you know, the cart before the horse a lot of times.
Yeah. Let me ask you, so just to make sure I'm hearing you correctly, I think I'm getting you. When you say just create the voice or the WAV file first and start with that, and then get that downloaded, right, as you said, and then take that and move that up into HeyGen, and then create that product, right? So once, what I'm hearing you say is, once you create that product, now you have that product, and I should be looking at creating the content and making sure that's going to be up to par, right? So maybe we have the product, the avatar, and now we're looking at the distribution content, right? And then once that's created, or it's, shall we say, repeating at a congruent, consistent, you know, cadence, which is really what you're after. And I'll be doing what I call a prompt engineered version of that, where we do containers and variable. I'll refer to a guy like John Munsell or Ingrain AI that does that, teaches that. But that container is now built. So that's another product. So now we have the avatar product. Now we have the content product. And now we're just looking at distributing that in an automated way. Is that what I'm hearing you say, looking at this and building? Do I get that right?
Essentially, yes. That there's a lot in, again, like, before you automate something, you should be doing it. Because you're not really going to know how to automate it right. And it's going to just go slower, and automating it takes time. And again, like, before you invest time in automating the whole process, do you even know that you want to do this, right? And we say yes, but then, like, when the rubber meets the road, it's like, well, maybe, you know, or I want to do something slightly different. And so, and again, like, it just to start getting traction and figuring it out and getting the feedback and, you know, learning along the way. And again, like, the automation, I've said this before, automation is really good for processes where you're going to be doing that like 1,000 times a week or something like that, or 100 times a week. But, you know, you've said, like, for your newsletter, you want to do it once a week, maybe 3 times a week. For these videos, maybe that's, you know, 5 times a week or once a week or something like that. Easily, you should probably be starting these by just using AI to help you with everything, but not necessarily automating it. because the automation isn't necessarily really going to save you that much time for these, right? Unless you can figure out how to automate the editing process, which is going to be fairly difficult. And they don't really have good automation for it. Like your biggest time in the HeyGen YouTube thing is going to be editing it. Like there is still a level of editing that needs to happen. And then to build out again, like the automation to edit it is going to be highly complex. To take all these different pieces, cut them together, and make them right. Like it's not that it's impossible, but that's very, 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 very difficult. And even still, you have to check on the edits to make sure they're right, because like an AI agent editing something for you is going to have problems with it. So yeah, just use the AI solutions to create your content for you, get it off the ground, and then see where you can apply edit automation, or is it even necessary, right? Like, again, if you start to see that, okay, basically go to ChatGPT, I ask it to do a couple of things, or I go to Perplexity, right? Maybe whatever, like something that's good at research. And I ask it to do a couple of things. I walk away, I come back, it has a script for me. I copy that script or I download it. I already have my voice agent chosen, or my voice chosen in ElevenLabs. I have my avatar chosen in HeyGen. I upload the script to the voice. It generates the voice. I download it. I take that voice and I put it into HeyGen. It creates, an avatar. I download that. Then I edit the pieces together. Boom, boom, boom. I'm good. The one thing that you may want to automate is if you figure out, like, if there's a bunch of like B-roll that you're creating with video or something like that, where it's like, well, I have to create 30 shots per video or something like that. It's like, like going through and creating 30 different shots is sort of annoying. But even still, I would do them at first by hand, so you can sort of, okay, what kind of shots, like, when I do it, like what's working, what's not working, so you're not having it just sit there and like create 30 different shots for you every time. And that's going to cost money. Like 30 VO shots is not going to be 30 cents, right? Like it might be, depending on what service you use, that might be like $30, right? And you don't want to do that wrong every time. So I would use the AI to do what you're going to do and automate the whole thing. And once like, okay, here's the secret sauce, here's the recipe, I have done a bunch of these videos, now I know what to do, I know exactly what I want, what my prompts are supposed to be, and then I can see all the different pieces. Let me automate that. And again, what you might realize is that spending a bunch of time trying to automate the first couple steps is just not worth it. But maybe just doing the B-roll, because it's like, well, I have to generate 50 video clips that get edited into here. That makes sense. Let me automate that, because I don't want to sit here 50 times, putting in a prompt, waiting for it to generate a video, putting in a prompt, waiting for it to generate a video. And then the same thing with like HeyGen. I guess if you're having it generate 50, you're doing a bigger video and it's got 50 avatar clips, it's like, okay, yeah, you don't want to do 50 different clips. But if it's like 2 or 3 clips, of avatar content each time to create a video, you can do that pretty quickly. Like you don't need to automate that at first. But something where you want it to read and reply to 1,000 emails, yeah, that sounds like something good you want to automate. But even still, with that, you would want to see what the email response is that it's generating each time before you just let it automate the whole process, right? Otherwise, you could set up an automation that's responding to people with AI, and the AI responses are terrible, right? So instead, you could just take the emails that you're getting in, feed them into an LLM, get the response, use that as your response email. Do that enough times, and then, once you've got it all down, okay, here, let me automate that process.
Thanks. I appreciate your help, Jeff. Good stuff. I'll try not to put the cart before the horse.
Yes, I think for everybody with automations, there are 2 separate things. This goes for everybody with everything you're doing. There's AI and there's automation. And AI is a great tool and automation is a great tool. A lot of times what you need to do is test out your AI tools first, get them locked in, see the workflow that makes sense, and then apply automation to it to automate it if it's worth it, right? Again, like, if you're doing something and you're only doing it once or twice a week and it's only a few minutes for you to take it from one step to the next step, is that worth setting up an automation pipeline, right? Or again, if you're doing something and it's 1,000 times a week and it's really bogging you down and you're like, oh my God, I'd be so much more efficient and productive if I didn't have to do this one task so many times over and over again. That's a great choice for automation. And then Sam Lee, to answer your question, I built my first neural network in 1999 and have been studying computer vision and machine learning, I guess, 26 years now. But then at various times, I haven't always been dedicated to AI, but the first time I was introduced to AI was that long ago. Let's see, any other questions? I've been talking to Russell a lot, although conversations with Russells I think are always productive and apply for everybody. Keith, maybe Georgetta, I know you have questions. It just, I can tell, but Dominic, maybe. Axe I know has answers and not necessarily questions usually. Good to see you, Axe.
What's going on, man? It's been a while. That's a great answer you gave him, by the way.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Axe is pretty well, it's like you do this professionally, right? Setting up automations, AI for people. And you probably see the same thing, right? Where you get clients who come in and it's like, yeah, I want to automate this. And it's like, are you sure? Are you sure you don't want to just, like it's a lot of work to automate that, and it's not going to take you that much time to do the work. Or just putting that cart before, do you even know what workflow you're automating yet?
Yeah, usually, I have a very thorough process where it's in essence is basically I have write down what the goal is, and then from that goal we start going, okay, well, what do we need for that to happen? And then from kind of like what you were telling them, like, okay, let's lock in the AI first. And like you said, there is the automation and then there's the workflows, right? And then what do you connect it to? So, steps by steps usually work, but I do get the whole kind of just put in a prompt and have, automatic YouTube channels consistently. That is a normal thing that people ask. I'm like, no, that's not how it works at all. That's not really how it's supposed to do it. But yeah. Anywho, finally catching up with you in the new time. So setting that up, man. Setting that up.
Awesome. Yeah, and then yes, and this has come up. I guess we've been talking about these different YouTube. I don't want to discourage people from trying to set up their own YouTube channels. AI. I actually think it's a great idea. You should definitely do it, but as Axe said, as I have been pointing out, one prompt and then you get in a video out of it for YouTube, that is not there. Even though there's probably some company that says that they can do that. And like theoretically they can. It's just when you watch the video, you realize that nobody is going to subscribe to that channel. But a bunch of different prompts, a few different services, either editing it yourself or paying somebody, a small amount of money to edit it. And yeah, you can do this. But then even this is something I posted or I put in the chat for Sam, and what I mentioned to Russell. So HeyGen is going to cost money, right? HeyGen, I think a good HeyGen subscription is probably $60 or $100 a month, so then there's that. ElevenLabs is not that expensive. You could do ChatGPT to create your scripts for you, and you probably, if that's all you use ChatGPT for, maybe do the free version, or you're spending $20 a month, or you're using their API. And I guess if you used like 4.0 or like Mini, something like that, wouldn't be that expensive. If you used 4.0, you might be spending $5 or $10 a month on it. And then the B-roll video generation, right? So if you're using Kling or VO3 or Runway or Ray or any of these video generators, if you're doing, say, 4 videos a month and you're doing 10 to 20 little video clips that you're throwing in there, that is going to add up to probably another $100 or so a month, somewhere in that range. So yeah, you can get a video channel out of this, but I think if you start adding all this stuff up, you're looking at ish $100 a month maybe for these videos. I mean, and again, like this is plus or minus. So you can make shorter videos, you can make longer videos, you could do videos more often. You could just use voiceover for a lot of it and not use HeyGen. You could do all kinds of different things to make this work. But, you know, that's going to be your fees. And then that might sound like a chunk of money. But if you were to generate your own YouTube videos and have them be at this quality, it's going to cost you more money than that for sure. So, you know, this is not put in a prompt, get a YouTube channel for free. But it is a system where if you are dedicated to putting together your own YouTube channel and you want to make money off of it, this is much cheaper and cost effective than doing it the old fashioned way. You know. Okay. We haven't heard from Dominic or Keith or Georgetta. Any of you have questions, or we could see if maybe Sam or Russell or Axe or Aaron have anything else to say, or Ed.
Hello, can you hear me?
Oh, I can't. Oh, your mic comes on. Okay, there you go, Sam.
Yes, yeah, I had to reset my Gmail settings.
Oh,
But yeah, man, Jeff, nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
I'm just the fact that I was able to find your channel, in itself has become a lot of answer for me in regards to like what to do with AI and how to ride the wave of the age. You know, I feel like I agree with most of your points on your introduction videos where it tells us that, you know, a lot of people would try to go against it and try to say and bring it down. But at the end of the day, when an age is changing, it's going to change.
Yep.
And it's going to be either whether people adapt to it or not.
Yep.
And I wholeheartedly agree with that. And right now, I'm 24 years old and I realize, you know what? I think it's more wiser be the person to adapt to the wave that's changing instead of trying to go against it. It's the same people that try to go against bicycles. It's the same people that try to go against automation and automobiles, you know?
Yes.
So, you know, one thing that I've always had a passion in when I was a kid was a YouTube channel. I never had the video editing skills and the patience to sit down and really grind for it. But with the AI tools readily available for us, and especially if you have, you know, saved up a little bit of money and you're able to use a little bit higher grade of AI services, I realized, oh my goodness, like if I just have systems the same way that we have systems in our lifestyle, right? We live not by willpower, but by systems. That's how we become consistent. Like, wait, I can do this for real. And like, I right now, I don't have any like specific questions because I want to first come from a place where I completely absorb every information that you've already provided to us.
Yep.
But so I guess what I'm just trying to say is that, first of all, thank you for doing this. You know, I really think you're one of a kind in being able to do this because, to be honest, a lot of people would gatekeep this type of information, you know, but I hope that I can also bring a lot of value to the community going forward. One question I had while I was reading through your post was, what's the whole $500 like challenge thing going on? Like, how does that work?
So, okay. So there's, I do the coaching calls. Julian is running the challenges and things like that. And so like, I don't know what the 500, if somebody else knows what the $500 challenge is, drop it in the chat, or you can turn on your, Axe got it. There we go.
Julian works is, so there's various ways of working with him. If you want to either promote his services, so say for example that you have an agency, or maybe you just have the time, or maybe you just need extra money, so you can just promote a lot of his services and any of the SEO services that he has a couple other stuff on there. And if you do that and you bring people to him and they close them, runs different bonuses for that, right? Like if you know, it's like sales, you know how it is, right? So the more people you bring in, you get different bonuses for that reason. And he has that like almost every week. But that's in essence how, or his entire business around the community. That's how it works.
Gotcha. Thank you, Alex. Are you also part of the challenge by any chance?
I am not, only because I have my own agency. And to be honest, the SEO part is I concentrate on organic most of it, and then also what we do is mostly just ML automations. I guess AI now. I mean, I'm like Jeff, man. I've been doing this since the '90s, so this whole AI thing to me, I'm like, that's hilarious. It used to be just machine learning, robotics, and now I got to call it AI, whatever. But so yeah, I've had it for a long time. So I just concentrate on that. Not that there's no value in it. It's just SEO is something that you gotta, you gotta put a lot of time into it per client. And I mean, that's his agency. I concentrate on other things, but yeah, that's kind of how I think everybody that has a successful school kind of runs their agency that way.
Gotcha. Thank you, Alex.
And then Sam, a couple of things that you brought up that I just want to hit on. I think you're right. Obviously, I think all of us are here because we believe that AI is a technological revolution, right? And there are people who are resistant to it. Although I wonder how many people are like really, really, really resistant to it, or how much the media puts that out there. I don't run into that many people, although I guess it's one of those things where when you run into somebody in real life, they might say whatever they want on the internet, but then when they meet somebody who does AI for a living, they're not necessarily going to want to say those things in person. I think that some people aren't necessarily even resistant as much as it is technical, right? Or they don't have time, or they think they don't have time to get into it. So when we hear some of the negative things that people say about AI, I think it's like, you're all, you could be as negative as you want about AI until it cures your mom's cancer. And then you're probably going to enjoy AI a little bit more, or be more positive to it. And then it does all these other things around the fringes that we benefit from, right? Like every time you use Google Maps or you use Waze to get you somewhere, you're using machine learning to help you do that. Whenever you're planning out your vacation or your trip on the weekend, you take a look at the weather. They're using AI and machine learning to figure all that out. And so this is and then again, like these little pockets of resistance, or people who say that they don't like it or they're not going to be a part of it. It's like, okay, you're not really going to stop it. It's coming. It's way too productive. It's way too useful. And we're really at, the AI that people are interested in, using LLMs, agentic workflows, image and video generation has been evolving incredibly fast, even when it's become, like, if you look at the past 2 or 3 years, they show it, like, if anybody's familiar with the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing, right, where it's essentially such a strange benchmark, again, for video generation, right? So for AI video generation, one of these quote-unquote benchmarks is a video of Will Smith eating spaghetti. And if you look at the one from a few years ago and you look at the one now, it's obviously completely different. And if we're there, then where does it go? Where does it go? Where does it go from there? And I think that, as I've said, is that if the world is going to essentially stay the same, except only the AI technology evolves, then yes, everyone's going to be out of a job, or we're going to have nothing to do, because, AI will just do everything that we're doing now. And we don't evolve at all. And yeah, of course AI can do it. But then if you look at, when computers came out, if the world never evolved past, where things were when computers came out, then we wouldn't have much to do, because, computers would just get faster and better, and we would not evolve, and there would just be not much to do. But that's not what happens, right? The same thing with like smartphones. It changes how society works and ups the level for everything and raises the bar and the standards. And it's very difficult to predict where all this is going or what's going to happen. But I do think that in the short term, using AI to make yourself more profitable, more efficient, more effective, instead of the opposite is the way to go. Sam is probably the youngest person on the call, if not one of the youngest people on the call. I know that he's younger than some of the folks on here. He's definitely younger than me. And, I've heard that it's very, you're at the, not necessarily college generation, or not college graduation age, but roughly around then, right? Starting your career, like post-college, if around that time. And supposedly that's one of the most confusing and difficult. I think it's always sort of confusing and difficult to graduate from college and figure out what next. But now with AI doing a lot of the work that recent college grads were doing, and I think I just saw this report that said that at this point in time, basically equal, like getting a college degree, your job prospects are roughly equal to that of somebody with a high school degree, probably because so many people are just going to work into fast food, right? And so it's like you could have a high school degree or a college degree, and you're both going to start off, running the fryer at McDonald's. But part of the problem with that is that, it averages a bunch of things out, and you don't get to see all the different pieces in there, and people who utilized that college degree the right way, or again, people who are leveraging AI who went to college, right, and are starting their own business, or they're going to Y Combinator, or they're going on to medical school to be a doctor, and so there are all these opportunities out there. I think that there's a lot of negativity out there as well, or people who tell you can't, right? If you ever listen to anybody who's successful, they will tell you that early on, people told them they couldn't do it, that they shouldn't do it, right? It's never going to work out for you. There's so many stories about this. And it's that tall poppy syndrome. It's, whatever it is that does hold people back. And it probably is, one of the aspects of success that we don't talk about enough is not the hard work necessarily, is not the intelligence or the being able to network, although having all of those things really, really matter and are very important to success. But also, it is people who telling you, no, you shouldn't do this, or that's a bad idea, and then you keep on doing it anyway. Now, sometimes those people are telling you shouldn't do something and it's a bad idea because you're like, here, I'm going to go get drunk and jump off this bridge. It's like, yeah, not the greatest idea in the world. But when your idea is, hey, there is this technological revolution that is happening, and, I want to start leveraging it in all these different ways. And sure, there are some downsides to it, right? But there's also an incredible number of positives to it. And you can, start and, get your career off the ground. I'll say, for Sam and any of the other people out there, you've heard me say this before. It's like being an AI consultant is probably the number one growing career that's out there. Being AI literate and helping companies be more AI literate, or doing something like AEO, right, where there's nobody who has 10 years of AEO experience. They might have SEO experience, and they can leverage that, but none of them really have that much AEO experience, or, being good at building agentic workflows. There is nobody who has 10 years of agentic workflow building experience, not even me and Axe, right? And so there are all of these opportunities out there. And I think that if you're showing up to these coaching calls and you stick with this for some time and utilize these tools and build out your skill set and your brand, you are going to put yourself in a much better position than somebody who just says AI makes ugly images, or I don't trust LLMs, or whatever. But that is it for today. Tomorrow, we're going to do more open source, open source voice generation. So we were working on this one, and then I took forever to install the dependencies. However, there is another one that Microsoft just released, another open source voice model. And so we might mess around with both of those. Thank you, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great rest of your day and have fun with AI and automation.